Hey guys, and welcome back. Today's video is long overdue. I've talked about doing this video a few times in the past, and I finally got around to making it. Now, it's related to food photography again, and if you're having trouble getting depth of field in your images, you're trying to get pictures of the cupcake, but you can't get enough depth of field no matter what f-stop you're using, then this video is for you. This is all about a technique called photo stacking, and we're going to work through it. I'll show you my setup, and then I'll go step by step with you on the focus stacking in the software. Let's get into it. Here's my little setup that I've got going on here. What I've decided to do is I've used some meringue nest, and to give it that little pop of color, make it a little more fun, I put gumballs in the top, which are nice and colorful. Now they could be any kind of little cake pop or whatever, but I just thought it made a fun image, and it'll help explain and demonstrate the focus stacking technique. How I can get this in focus all the way to the back. Now, you're saying, well, you just increase your f-stop. Well, in most cases, that is correct. You have to remember though, each lens has a sweet spot. Typically around the f8 is the sweet spot for most lenses. Once you start going lower than that or higher than that, you lose a little bit of sharpness. Now, a lot of food I shoot at happens to be f11, even f22. I do lose a bit of sharpness, but I can take care of that in post if I need to. But being able to get the depth of field that I need is more important. So on here, if I want this first one in focus, and only this one in focus, then what I need to do is I need to take a picture with the front edge of the meringue in focus. I then come along and take about 3/4 of the way back, another focus point, and take another picture. Now, the camera's on the tripod and it's not moving. So the only adjustment being made is the focus distance, which does offset your image a bit, and I'll show you in post how we take care of that. But the important thing is that your camera is on a tripod and it's not moving. The only thing moving is your focus point. So if I want this first meringue in focus, I focus on the front edge and I focus on about the middle to 3/4 of the way back. I've created two images. I'll show you in a minute how we take those two images and put them into the software and create one image with the focus area and the depth of field that I'm after. Now, a greater challenge is getting all three of these in focus. How do we do that? It's very easy. We just have to take multiple images. So I would take one at the front, maybe one in the middle, then one at the back, and I would keep taking images all the way along, as many as I needed. 5, 10, 20, 30, 40, doesn't matter. Take various amount of images, and we're going to stack them in the software, and I'll show you, as I say, in a minute. One thing you need to be aware of, you can't take a picture at the front and a picture at the back and try and stack them together. The focus distance between them is too great, and it'll create a lot of problems. I'll show you the problems when the distance between it is too much in the software and it just doesn't work out. So you're better off to take extra images, and you can always use less images if you need to. All right, this is my setup. I'm using the Nikon D800 with a 90mm lens. I've got a strip box over on the side here with a studio strobe in. As you know, I'm a strobe user. I am using the LEDs to light the set for the video for you, but the shot was actually taken with studio strobing, and I did have a reflector on this side to kick a little light back in. That's the principles of focus stacking. Camera not moving, and you're taking images of the subject as far back as you need, changing the focus point on each. Clear as mud? Let's get into the software, and I'll show you how the focus point changes with my different referencing, and how we're going to take all these images, squish them together, and create one masterful piece with a great depth of field. Let's have a look at the software. Now we're into Photoshop, and we need to bring our files in. So what you do is you come up here, click File, Scripts, Load into Stack. Then search for where your files are with the browse. So I take the first two and I just hold the Shift key down so I can select both, and then OK. And then where it says Attempt to automatically align source images, you want to make sure that is ticked. And then click OK. It'll bring both files in and line both files up for you. Just have to give that a second to go. There, we now have both files brought in. And this image here, we're only concentrating on getting the front macaroon in focus. We're not concerned about the other two. So now I need to highlight both these files on the right hand side here. So again, I hold Shift down and click. Now both files are highlighted. I come into Edit, Auto Blend Layers, make sure that the Seamless Tones and Colors is ticked. Click OK. Let Photoshop do its magic. Now, depending on your computer, the speed will vary to how fast this does. Now we have our files created, and you can see on the right hand side here, it's created a layer mask of focus. So it's taken the two images, combined them, and created our focus. So now if we come in at 100%, so that's in at 100%, and you can see that focus is pretty much bang on that front one, and there's no issues there. Now as we scroll back, you can see that it slowly gets more and more out of focus. That's what we were after. We wanted this one in focus and these ones not in focus. Now simply you just need to layer in here, flatten your layers, and then save your file. That's all there is to it. Now remember when I said about trying to get the focus from front to back? If you just take one at the front and then try and grab a focus at the back, and with that great distance, and I said that the problems it causes, well, let me show you what happens there. So File, again, Script, load into Stack, Browse, and we're going to grab these two files where the focus distance is one at the front, one at the back. Again, attempt to align automatically. Click OK. And you can see here already the misalignment because of the focus distance. I focused at the front and I focused at the back. And in two files, that's a pretty big shift in focus point, and you can see how it's had to align the image. So again, hold the Shift key down and click so both files are highlighted. Come into Edit, then come into Auto Blend. Again, make sure your Seamless Tones and Colors is ticked. Click OK. Let the computer do its magic once again. Again, you can see on the right hand side how we have our files there, and it's created the layer masks. But let's go in and have a look, and I can already see an issue right down here in the bottom right hand corner. There's that little spot. So let's get in a little closer and see what that's about. Now you can see because of the misalignment, it's created problems. And look at this bit of blurring all in through here compared to the texture beside. So it's created a bit of a weird thing going on here. But let's have a look at the front. Okay, we seem to be in focus here, and I'm not seeing any issues with this. There's a little bit right here. See how it's the yellows got misaligned, and there's a bit of blurriness where there shouldn't be. So there's another problem there. And if we come along here, okay, we're kind of out of focus, and again we've got some misalignment, some blurriness, and we had an issue there. Big issue in here. See how it's almost ghosting on it. Again on the purple, again on the yellow, and the back is in focus because I took the reference picture at the back and at the front. So definitely in the middle we have some bad issues going on with these gumballs in and around here. So you can see what happens when you try and take just two images, one at the front, one at the back, and the alignment is off. So even if I had taken a bunch of images, if my alignment is off because I wasn't using a tripod, the same kind of issues would happen. So let me get rid of that, and now let me just show you how to do it with front to back. This will take a second to load because I think there's like 8 or 9 layers to this, but I've got the image completely in focus, front to back. So you can see I've got all my layers here. I think there's about 9 of them, and I've already done this one because it took a little more because of the amount of files. But now let's go in and have a look at this. So my front edge is in focus, and I have no issues coming along. My mid ground is all in focus, lovely, and look at that at the back. So I have from the front to the back in focus. Now I wasn't worried about this back corner back here with the background because this was simply just for demonstration purposes. But you can see I have front to back in focus. And I don't have any of the weird issues going because I took a bunch of files all the way along, different referencing points, so when it went to put it together, everything lined up perfectly. Let's get back into the studio. There you have it, focus stacking. Not too difficult, just be aware of the pitfalls. Now here's the finished image that I did with this. I think it came out pretty good. There you go, focus stacking made pretty easy. So that was a fun one, using the gumballs on there with the meringues made it a fun, colorful little image. With focus stacking, you can use this on products, say a watch. You can use it on landscape photography. You can use it on anything. Just use the principles that I showed you, and it doesn't have to be just food photography. It can be used on a wide variety of subjects, and you can create some very unique and interesting images with some great depth of field. All right, I'm out of here on this one. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe, hit that bell notification so you're aware when I post new videos. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. So, until the next time.